Welcome. My name is Bobby Trosset, and I'm a senior at Bethlehem Central High School. This is the first showing of Voices of Bethlehem, which is a broadcast of Bethlehem sports and activities for the community. Today I have with me two big names that surround Bethlehem varsity basketball. Head coach, Mr. A.G. Irons, and senior co-captain, Myles Bergere, who has been on the team for 2 years. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today.
Thanks. Thank you.
Unfortunately, the other co-captain, Nate Kane, was unable to join us today, but we wish him well and congratulate him on a great season. So let's talk about your season a little bit. You finished 17-3, which is incredible. Also, you won the CBA tournament held in December for the first time ever. How did that feel, Myles?
It was a big accomplishment, especially winning the CBA tournament. It's something we've never done before. And within just our league, we went 14-2. We won the Suburban Council South title, and that's also one of our goals going into every year.
That's great. And headed into the sectional tournament, you were given the number 3 seed. You were able to cruise past Catholic Central at home and went on to face Troy at Hudson Valley Community College in the second round. Unfortunately, your journey ended here. But really, you guys have a lot to be proud about, and it was a season to remember. So today we're going to learn a little bit more about the team and what went into such a successful season. So Myles, let's start with you. What will you remember most about the season, and what are some of your highlights?
This season, I think I'll remember just the overall record of the team, how successful we were throughout the whole season. I'll especially remember the Gilderland game, which was very special because a lot of our fans came out and they showed tremendous support to our team. And I'll also remember both sectional games. The first one was a win. The second one, we ended up losing, but it was a very good game, both teams, and I think we played really hard that game.
And you also completed the season sweep against Gilderland, correct?
Yes.
That's great. That's a great accomplishment. Coach, what did this year's seniors mean to you, and what did they bring to the team?
Well, we had a lot of quality seniors this year. Obviously Myles is one of our seniors. Nathan's been with us on varsity for 3 years, and Nathan obviously had a tough setback with a broken jaw against Catholic Central. But Nathan being the player that he was, and having started for 3 years, and this year well deserved, earned the MVP of the Suburban Council, first team All Suburban Council. So a lot of rewards there for him, accolades. But if you also look at the rest of the guys that we had some role players, some guys that didn't see a lot of minutes, but were more than willing to work hard every day in practice. We had guys come out like this year, like Joe Giacconi, come out and hadn't played in a couple years, but because of his athleticism and strength, he was able to help us out. The big thing is we had senior guys in practice that led whether or not they're going to get a lot of minutes. It didn't really matter to them, and they worked very hard, and that meant a lot. I'm really going to miss this group.
All right, that's great. So let's swing it back to Myles here. What's next for Myles Bergere? What's next year going to bring for basketball? Do you have any options?
Next year I'm looking to possibly play Division III basketball at a few schools, and if I don't end up playing D3 basketball, I'll look to try to stay involved in the club level, or at least just intramurals, and keep playing at some level.
That's great. Now, Coach, how did the addition of Coach Nealon help your team this year, and how did it help out the success?
Well, I mean, you can't look past Coach Nealon, that's for sure. I knew Coach Nealon was looking around a little bit to see how he could stay involved in basketball, because he's kind of a gym rat and he wants to be involved however he can. I look at it, here's a guy that took the girls team to the state finals a few years back, has a vast knowledge of hoop and loves Bethlehem, even though he's a Troy native. We talked early in the season. Actually, we talked the first day of school about him possibly helping us out. And he said, give me the night to think about it. And I don't think he made it through the night before he gave me a phone call back. Said, I think I'm ready. So having him around has been great. He brings a little bit different energy, a little more energy to our practices, and it gives me someone besides just Coach Lanchan, someone else to bounce ideas off of. But again, his enthusiasm for the game, I think, really got everyone motivated for the year.
Well, he proved to be a pretty big asset. So let's swing it back to Myles here. Myles, if you were to give younger kids coming up through the Bethlehem program a piece of advice through what you've experienced, what would you tell them?
I tell kids just to play as much basketball as possible, whether it's AAU, going to the Y, or going to camps. But when they play, not just play pickup, actually do stuff that's constructional to like dribbling, shooting, and work on specific skills rather than just playing. And also get in the weight room, as when they start early in high school, it's good to start developing strength and not just wait till you're older to do it.
Now, you said develop strength. Was that a big key to your off season? Did you hit the weight room a lot?
Yeah, I worked out. Like, I'm obviously not the strongest player on the court, but I think it helped me just to play against bigger players. I got stronger throughout the season, and I think we had a good weight room experience with Coach Carlino, and we lifted at least twice a week, and I think that helped us be successful as a team.
All right. Coach, talk a little bit about next year's team. What are some of your expectations and toughest challenge you see coming up in the Suburban Council?
Well, next year's team, we have a lot of quality players back again. John Zika's back. He was chosen as a first-team All-League for the Suburban Council this year. He was a second-teamer last year, and obviously he draws a lot of attention anywhere we go. We have Connor Morelli back again, a starter. But we have a lot of guys that were more or less role players this year that saw significant minutes, but proved themselves, I think, and they showed everyone that came out to watch us against Troy that those underclassmen are ready to play, which was very exciting for us to watch. Against the Troy, we weren't just thinking about, oh, this looks good for next year. We actually were thinking, wow, these guys can really play and they can step up right now, and it really showed that there's not going to be, and obviously losing these seniors is going to be tough, but we think the program is pretty strong and it'll continue on.
Absolutely. So Myles, talk a little bit about how volleyball impacted your preseason as your fall sport.
Volleyball, I think it helped me stay in shape with Coach Arquette. We actually ran a good deal, and that helped. And I think it also helps jumping and blocking skills. I think my timing, just to get up and go there and block it for basketball, it increased playing volleyball. And we were also very successful. We ended up finishing third in the state, so that was a lot of fun. I ended up starting basketball 2 weeks late, but didn't really hurt the season too much in the end.
All right. Coach, during basketball season you have a lot going on, obviously. How do you balance being a father and a coach at the same time?
Well, it's actually pretty tricky. I basically figure if we have a 3 to 5 practice that I probably won't get home till around 6 o'clock. And any night that we have a later practice, 5 to 7, or game nights, it's going to be pretty late, and I usually don't see my kids awake on those days. But I'll tell you what, I have a fantastic wife, and my kids are great, and we have a lot of family that helps us out, so it really does help. They understand, I think, what it takes to be a coach. It's a lot of extra hours, it's a lot of watching film, it's a lot of spending time. I probably spend more time in the winter with these guys than I do with my own family, so it's tough, but it again, rewarding in the end, and now that the season's over, and we didn't want it to be over, but now I spend a lot of time with my family.
Absolutely. Well, let's get off the court a little bit for a second and get a little academic with Myles. Myles, what do you plan on studying during college?
Next year I'm looking at studying possibly business or sport management. I think both interest me right now, and I'm not really sure till I get there and experience it what I want to choose, but I'm leaning towards something in business right now.
Maybe that business can go towards something on the basketball court. That's good. Coach, from what you know about Myles, where do you see this guy in 10 years?
Well, Myles will be. I got a pretty good idea. Myles is going to be very successful. Whatever he decides to pursue, I'm sure he'll be successful, and I hope to see him coming back to watch some of our games as he gets older.
Absolutely, and it was a stellar season. Well, thank you, Coach Irons and Myles, for joining us today as the guests of my first show, and that's a wrap. Congratulations on a great season. Thank you for tuning in to Voices of Bethlehem. Please join us next time for an interview with the girls' varsity basketball team.